I think that the language of war is harmful in understanding what is happening in Palestine right now. And I think the word genocide limits that harm that is being done in terms of misinformation.
I suppose to come back to that example, it's not entirely accurate either, though, is it? Because genocide suggests an entirely one-sided conflict, which Gaza isn't. It may not be a war, a war between two armies. It may not be anything like an equal battle, but there are two sides trying to fight each other.
Can you give me an example of a genocide that you think does meet that definition of genocide? Where there was
genocide is not something I ever define. I will report when a genocide is found, and so that might be Cambodia or Rwanda or in Bosnia-Herzegovina or in the Second World War.
In all of those examples, though, were there not instances where there was
they were a fight.
Yeah, there was a fight. Yeah. And I think it is really interesting when we're saying, when do we as journalists just say this is a genocide, right? There are so many human rights organizations, Amnesty International, you know all of them already, Christian, and you know the states that have also come up and said this is a genocide. Like, is it that we're waiting for the British government to say that it's a genocide before we then feel comfortable using that language?
I think this is, we've got ourselves into a real mess over calling what's going on in Gaza a genocide or not, because we are all waiting for a court of law, which is never going to happen. And so we've ended up in this situation where, mainstream media, if you like, feels unable to use the word in its normal reportage because it doesn't know sort of what's its source. If it's contested, why do you say, yes, but it's been ruled as a genocide? That's the problem.
I hear you. It is contested. And, it's part of the reason, actually, why so much of my work is focused on Palestine is this contestation, right? Like, what is happening in Sudan right now is absolutely horrific and is not getting the attention that it deserves. And yet, so much of my attention is still focused on Palestine because there is a broad consensus that what's happening in Sudan is genocide.
There is definitely genocidal intent in Sudan.
And there is definitely genocidal intent in Palestine when this number of Israeli high-ranking politicians have said, we want to exterminate the Palestinian people. They have expressed genocidal language
there
over
are
and
people
over and
with
over again.
genocidal intent.
Yeah, but then even in the case of Sudan, how many politicians does it take to express genocidal intent for us to say it's a genocide? Like, it's two totally different standards that are being applied. And I hear you that it's like, let's just get on with telling the facts. But to me, let's just get on with telling the facts is to use the word genocide, Yeah.
But why are you more distressed?
Yeah.
You clearly are distressed by it, by this mass killing, than you are about the one that's also going on right now in Sudan.
It's not that I'm more distressed, it's that this one is contested in a different kind of way. I watch my colleagues readily using the language of genocide in Sudan, rightly so, to describe that scale of suffering and to describe, again, it's about intent. It's not just about the scale of the suffering.
Well, America said it was genocide.
Exactly. America's come forward and said it. And yet the British and the American governments are not saying that this is a genocide. And therefore that's where, because it's contested, that's where I'm focusing all of my energy. And yet I think I am distressed because I feel like these are my colleagues that I'm witnessing using language that I don't think is accurate. And I'm disappointed and frustrated with that. And also because I'm disappointed and frustrated in the ways that Palestinian journalists are not being heard and listened to. Palestinian journalists are saying this is a genocide. They are there. They are living it day after day. They are literally going without food as they're trying to report. They're coming on screen and saying that their family members have been killed. And they're describing it as a genocide. And I see no reason to not believe what they're saying.
Then I suppose we have to get to sort of what lies underneath it, which I guess is racism.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of racism as well against Sudan. I want to make that absolutely clear. Part of the reason why the world hasn't paid sufficient attention to the genocide there is because of the way that Black bodies aren't respected and valued in the same way that, let's say, white bodies elsewhere might be. And I would say that the case of Palestine, part of the reason why it also takes up so much of my attention is because it is this confluence of so many things. Here is colonialism taking place before our very eyes. Here is Islamophobia. Here is anti-Arab hatred. It's everything.